Hey everyone, I'm Connor and this is my co-host Johnny.
Welcome to our podcast, Dad Shoes,
Have you ever wondered where a dad joke comes from?
or how dads just seem to have the right wisdom for the moment.
Or you're just trying to figure out what your dad was thinking? Maybe you are a dad and you just need to hear,
Hey man, us too.
well, we're learning what it's like to wear the dad shoes.
And we'd like to invite you to join us on this journey. But first things first, Connor, how was your Thanksgiving?
Good, sorry, I was just trying to breathe. I want to breathe into the microphone.
It's very hard to breathe when you're recording.
It is. My Thanksgiving was wonderful. We are not at home right now, so I'm in a strange setup on a laptop, my old microphone, which has become my travel mic, which I'm trying not to breathe too heavily into today.
You know what, man?
But-
I think that's great. I'm really digging it. I love that we have this ability to record on the go. And, you know,
Yeah, man.
I can record from my house, so it's cool.
Yeah, I probably could have just used my phone. I was
You
thinking
probably
about
could
that.
have.
Like just as a note record or whatever.
Well, you probably could have just, when we first started this, I started looking at voice recorders and like ways to edit audio on the phone.
Oh, yeah.
And because we weren't using Audacity at the time, we were going to do it to edit, but I thought about looking at it on my phone. And there are apps on your Samsung. I don't know about your Apple, but your Samsung that can record and edit audio specifically for podcasting, which is pretty sweet.
They know their audience.
Yeah, they do.
And you
Yeah,
can
they
just do what all the TikTokers do. They get the headphones and they take the microphone. It doesn't really work with these headphones, but like with the Apple headphone, the microphone's a little bit further down the cable. So when they want to have good audio, they just pick up the microphone and put it in front of their mouth, and it sounds great.
Don't they all just talk on their Apple Pods, their earbuds?
Well, if they have AirPods. Well, no, actually, if they have AirPods and they want it to sound good, they'll take one out and they'll hold it in front of their mouth like a microphone.
I haven't seen that.
That's TikTok, man.
I don't watch TikTok.
It's a strange world, but it's taken over. Anyway, this is Thanksgiving. So, John, how's your Thanksgiving?
It's great. It did not start out great. It didn't start out bad, but it did not start out great. I woke up at 2 a.m. Actually, I think it was like midnight. And I woke up in the middle of the night because I needed to use the restroom. And I'm going back to my bed, and all of a sudden my door opens. And I'm half asleep. So it took me a minute to realize that it's probably my child. And I'm ready to fight. And then I went, wait, there's a little person coming in my room. So she comes into bed. Charlotte May comes into bed. That was fine. She slept great until almost 7, probably 6:45ish. We
In your
woke up
bed?
in my bed.
That's always a treat
You know what? It is.
when it works out.
When she wants to be sweet and isn't pushing me off the bed, which most of the time she'll just she rolls over and I don't want to crush her, so I roll and then she rolls and then I roll and the little one says roll over. And I feel like I'm going to fall off the bed. But if I can just move her, then we're so. But we woke up early, had coffee, a little out of sorts because we had to do the whole house cleaning thing. And
Yeah. Well, you guys were hosting this year.
we
right?
were hosting this year. And we decided last year that as soon as we move into our new house, we're going to do Thanksgiving. Right? It's going to be at our house. And great. It'll be 2020. We'll do our Thanksgiving. So we've already got plans for everybody to come. And then 2020 happened. And then everything started to cool down. So my brother and sister-in-law didn't want to. They only canceled because of restrictions for their industry. They're working kind of in a bubble, and they don't want to. If they leave, they've got to get tested. They get tested every week, but yeah, they can't come back for 2 weeks. So, or something to that effect. So that they didn't want to mess up that. My aunt, she works for a nonprofit. And they're doing a charity event starting tomorrow for the rest of the week. But if she went out of town and came back, she's got to quarantine. So, and they work with kids with medical issues. So it's she can't just come back in potentially as a spreader. So
Yeah.
there was that. So my brother and sister-in-law canceled. My aunt and uncle canceled. It was just, and it ended up just being me, my family, and my mother and my grandparents. So not a big deal. We tried to spend a bunch of time out. We did spend a bunch of time outside, and It was good. Did you cook this year? I know you're a fan of cooking. I cooked the turkey. My wife did the biscuits and the stuffing, but my mom did like most of the sides. So what about you?
Yeah, I actually, and I want to specify this for the listener. This is a post-Thanksgiving episode recording. Like it is still Thanksgiving right now.
It is a post-game recap, play-by-play.
Post-game recap. As long as we don't talk about the Lions game, because that was abysmal.
They didn't come through this week, huh?
They did not. You know what? We'll save that for later. I do want to talk about it. We'll talk about that later. To answer your question, this year I didn't think about it until last night. But like I did not have time to do any kind of cooking or anything. So
really,
my church actually does a Thanksgiving service.
I saw that. Yeah,
which I was preaching at this year.
Awesome.
So I kind of had to be there.
Yeah, yeah, you did.
And you know, when it was offered to do that, I talked to Marcy because what we do, we alternate.
We do too, sort of.
This year was a year to do Thanksgiving with her family and Christmas with mine, and next year is vice versa.
Makes sense.
So I talked with her about it, and I said, hey, you know, I got this opportunity to preach. I'd like to take it, you know. So I cleared it with my wife before I do that.
Right.
But because of that, now we have to be in town Wednesday night before Thanksgiving. So we can't travel up ahead of time. So, I mean, I was, you know, working until last night. I planned it so I didn't have youth group this week, which was great.
Well, you were preaching.
But then I was preaching. I didn't have youth group because I was like, oh, it's Thanksgiving week, no youth group. I'm going to have like the week off. But I still had something to do Monday night, and I still had something to do Wednesday night. So I was like, okay, well, that didn't really work out.
What was Monday night?
But we did a volunteer appreciation dinner.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Which is usually my confirmation class. So this week it was that. So yeah, it felt like I really didn't have a lot of time. And I just like said to Marcy, like, you know what, can we just do Thanksgiving on Friday? Like, I would love to have a day to just make pies, you know? And it was pies. That's what I wanted to do. I did get to cook the Brussels sprouts today.
Ooh, we had Brussels sprouts too.
That was my job. And we brought everything with us. We did it. I did 2 batches.
Nice.
Because we do have some vegans in the family.
Yes, you do.
So, and honestly, I mean, Brussels sprouts, easiest freaking things to cook.
Aren't Brussels sprouts vegan though?
Well, they are, but I put bacon in mine.
I actually tend to cook mine with pretty much vegan. I don't use a lot of bacon when I make Brussels sprouts just because it's something else I have to do. And otherwise, they're really freaking easy.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I just coat them in oil, salt, and pepper, and roast them in the oven. That's it.
Do you cut them?
I cut them in half.
I always cut mine in half.
Cut side down.
Oh, see, I don't do that. I do mine like I do my rosemary potatoes, minus the rosemary, because rosemary and Brussels sprouts is not the best mix.
No, I agree with you there.
Yeah, but I'd slice them and then I put them in a bowl and shake them up and mix them up real good. I just put them in a pan. I don't worry about flat side down.
Yeah, that's a new thing I started worrying. I did this time, and I'm excited to try the next time I cook Brussels sprouts with bacon. This time I cut the bacon up and like into little pieces and just kind of spread it around.
Raw bacon?
Yeah.
Okay.
We put it in the oven with raw bacon and let it all go together.
Sounds good.
But I watched Binging with Babish, my YouTube chef hero. He did an episode of Last Minute Thanksgiving things. And I think he even released it yesterday. So I was like, okay, cool. Thanksgiving's tomorrow.
That's funny.
Here's what you do. And so he did Brussels sprouts as well. But he didn't cut the bacon. Like, he put down the Brussels sprouts, and then he had a layer of bacon on top, like uncut. And I'm like, I want to see how this turns out.
That's probably really awesome because you're going to get all of that rendered fat from the layer cooks down into the... That's probably the best way to do it.
So I think I'm going to try. I didn't want to experiment. You know, it's Thanksgiving, so I didn't want to give that a shot.
Understandable.
And I'm in my mother-in-law's kitchen, so among everything else that was cooking at that time.
Right.
So, yeah, I did the Brussels sprouts today. That was my job.
That's cool.
But, yeah, so you said you did the turkey. How did you stuff your turkey?
I didn't stuff my turkey, and I'll tell you why. I spatchcocked my turkey. And what that means is you cut the back, you cut the spine out. And you break the rib cage and you lay it flat. I did it on the grill and kind of smoked it. It was amazing. But you can't stuff it because it's spineless, right? You could say it's just a big chicken.
Okay. You know, you texted me that joke earlier, and I guess there was a lot going on because I'm like, I don't think I get it. So, but your delivery, okay.
No, so you spatchcock it and you're like, that's got a spine. It was
For sure.
Oh man,
That's a good one.
I just kind of it can't be stuffed. It's spineless. And like as soon as it came out, it's just a big chicken. Oh man, it was an organic dad joke right there.
That's the best kind.
Let me tell you what, man. So what about who cooked your chicken?
Marcy's mom did.
Yeah.
She cooked the turkey. We did not have a spine. So we had a turkey. She roasted it. But this is kind of a cool thing. And this happened last Thanksgiving, I think.
Uh-huh.
Was like, because we still do typical Thanksgiving like with everybody. You know, like aunts, uncles, grandparents. Yeah. Last year, my mom hosted. And it was the first time that she asked me to carve the turkey.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is a big deal.
Yeah.
You know, this is the real deal. I had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah.
My uncle had to come in and save me.
Yeah.
This was before I started watching Binging with Babish and like learning how to do this stuff. And so today, again, my mother-in-law asked me to carve the turkey. And I'm like, oh,
big deal, man.
My pleasure. Yeah. I'd love to do that. Just, looked up a little YouTube refresher just to make sure right. I knew what I needed to do. But yeah, it came out really well. And it seemed like, it's like the honor, to get to carve the turkey. But everybody else was like, oh no, I don't want to risk it. Yeah.
It's like, it's a big deal. And it makes you feel, I remember the first time, I mean, I'd carved chickens before and I carved turkeys before, but it was never like, I'm carving the turkey. And I remember the first time I carved the turkey and my Uncle Craig was there with me. And we have he's no longer with us. We had an interesting relationship. And it was like, it never really took off. And it was always, I think it was like a nervousness on both of our parts. He married my mom's sister. Anyways, he was kind of in the kitchen with me the first time I had to carve the turkey. And I don't know how you did it, but I did it like, I'd seen somewhere where you do like slice off slices as you carve the turkey and off the breast, and that way you get slices of breast and that way when you're done you have then taken off the whole breast. And I don't like to do that now. I have learned a better way, and I don't know if you like this. What I do now, what I did tonight, is I actually cut the breast off the bone and kind of just pull it off. You cut it so it comes off the bone, and then you just rip it off, and then I slice it the other way because it goes against the grain of the meat. Yeah. And that's
how I did it today.
Oh, man.
So last year, the first time I tried to do it that other way.
Yeah, okay.
I cut off the slices from the bird.
And it doesn't work.
And that was where I messed up.
It doesn't work.
It started out strong, but then quickly turned. And so, and this is the other thing that was cool is, I'm looking for utensils and stuff. Like, so they give me the big fork. I'm like, okay, what about gloves? You got any rubber gloves?
Why?
So to handle the turkey.
Yeah, wash my hands.
You wash your hands, but it's still like, I don't know.
Interesting.
But she's like, oh yeah, I got rubber gloves right up there. So like, yeah, rubber gloves, grab the turkey with my hands, put it on the cutting board, put that initial, I think I took the legs off first.
Yeah, that's what I do too.
And then I did, right down the
sternum,
and then was able to use my fingers to kind of peel it away and then cut the rest. And it was like, when you're done, you take the gloves off.
Clean hands, dude. That's the best. So, I mean, I kind of teasing you about using gloves on your hands because I don't like to waste the gloves. I think we've talked about this. I don't like overusing gloves because they're not disposable. Well, I mean, they're not biodegradable. You throw them away and they're just there forever. And I have to use them for work, so I try not to use them whenever I don't have to. But when we're doing barbecue competitions, it's the best. Because you just stick your hands right there in the meat, whatever it is. You rip it apart. I mean, it's hot, but it doesn't do anything against the heat. But you take your gloves off, and you got fresh, clean hands. As long as they're not on for, nice. I keep my gloves on at work for like an hour and a half, and my hands are sweaty and nasty.
This was like maybe a 10-minute job.
Exactly, it was different.
But that's a new thing. I think I'm gonna have to look into getting some gloves for my kitchen at home.
I would love,
because that was pretty nice.
I would love for somebody to invent either biodegradable gloves, like gloves that you can put into a solution that's non-toxic that will like dissolve them. Because if it goes in, like if you're using them for cooking and you go into hot meat, it can't be something that's water soluble, and it can't dissolve with heat because what's meat juices and fresh off the grill, it's not going to work. So it's got to be, durable, but also easily degradable, or reusable. And I'm not really sure how you'd reuse tight-fitting nitrile gloves.
Them.
Yeah, exactly. How do you clean
I guess
them?
you just wash your hands, but
I mean, I've done that
with the gloves on,
but it's different.
Yeah,
I don't know, man. Because I love that feeling. You pull off and you can feel how greasy and nasty your hands are, and you peel the gloves off. It's like, oh, not anymore.
Clean hands. Yeah, that's a good feeling.
That is cool.
We'll put that out there. Yeah, if anybody makes those gloves, we'll sponsor you. How about that? You can call them the Dad Shoes.
Dad Shoes gloves. The Dad's gloves.
Dad Shoes glove.
Dad gloves.
Dad's gloves. Yeah. So, since, we are in a pandemic mode, I think we should talk about our safety precautions today.
Oh, yeah?
So, we kept it small. It was, my immediate family, Marcy and I and the kids, and then her brother and her brother and wife came, and my mother-in-law was here, and we had 3 others. So it was about 10 total. So we kept it small this year. There were more that wanted to come, but we were kind of like, maybe not this year. We hate to say it because we don't get to see this part of the family a lot, but we kept it small best we could. And her mom and brother and sister-in-law, we were kind of, I guess I can't say we're quarantining together because we don't live in the same city.
Yeah.
But, we've been around them. We've come to visit them before, and, we've included them in our bubble.
Yeah. I don't remember who it was I was listening to, but they were talking about your extended bubble. And when you really break it down, and as long as everybody's doing their own thing, those little weak points where there's a little bit of interaction and commingling in the bubbles, that should be fine. But we were...
Yeah, well, and I will say, because we have had, recent potential COVID scares, we've had to look up, okay, well, what does close contact count?
Yeah.
And I don't want to say that the news is a little sensational.
But it's the news. It's their business.
It's the news. They're trying to get views. But if you go to the CDC and you look at what actually counts as close contact,
right?
It's pretty loose, actually.
Yeah.
If your only source is the news, any news source, I think you might get into this real doomsday mode.
Yeah.
And then think you can't touch anybody. But when you look at it, you could be... What they consider close contact is you're within 6 feet of that person for 15 minutes or more.
Right.
Or if you have made physical contact with them.
Right.
I believe, and don't quote me on it, double check this if you are quarantining, but I believe they were talking about you can still go to the store when you're quarantining, just make sure you wear your mask. You can only do the low risk things because you have to get groceries.
The low risk, high necessity things, yeah.
Yes, low risk, high necessity. You can still go to the grocery store. You're not stuck in your house with all your ramen noodles.
Right.
You're allowed to go get stuff. So it's not totally scary. That said, you still want to take this seriously. Yeah. So we had our meal outside today.
Awesome.
We had tents set up and the tables are still up there right now. We'll probably eat there tomorrow too, but we made sure that we ate outside so everybody can spread out a little bit.
So it's funny. So I was driving. I went to the store today because I couldn't find my injection needle. And it ended up being exactly where the syringe was, where it should have been. But it was I don't know, every time we'd pick something up, it would get stuck in there. You pick up 2 things, and it would get stuck underneath it. And it's it shouldn't happen. Anyways, I went to the store today to go get an injection needle. And Winn-Dixie was closed. Oh. So... on my way there...
Dixie's always open on Thanksgiving.
Right? Anyways. Anyway, it may just be that one on North Lake and Military, but mine was closed now. So I'm on my way to Winn-Dixie, and I pass this house that has a pop-up gazebo. And it's got screens all around. It's like an easy up, like a pop-up tent.
Yeah.
But it's got screens all around. And I'm thinking, I bet sales of pop-up gazebos have skyrocketed this season. Because, it's a cool thing. Don't get me wrong. I like the pop-up gazebo. It's useful in the summer when it's when there's bugs and you're camping. And you don't have to worry about mosquitoes when you're eating. Mm-hmm. But this year, with it, eat outside. And it's actually been beautiful. We almost ate outside. But we had my mother and grandparents came up. So we had 3 extra people. And we didn't really have room around the table outside. We could have brought a table outside. But... we were outside the entire time until dinner, and our whole thing, we've been together. I've had the conversation with my grandparents that I don't stay at home. I go out and I work in public, and they're like, I don't care. Not that they don't care about the spread. They don't care if they get it. They know that I am being safe every time I go and I'm interacting with somebody. I've got my mask on. Hopefully they have theirs on, but that's different. And we all have been keeping our windows open forever because it's just, we like it a bit warmer than most people. So like today, it was a beautiful, 82 degrees. And we had the windows open, it was just beautiful. We were sitting outside. It was
nice up here too. Yeah. We had the whole house open.
Yeah, and that's what they say is like the airflow from having the windows open is just, that's what'll reduce the risk of spread. And if that's the difference between having Thanksgiving and having your family over for Thanksgiving versus not, it's been beautiful in here. It was sunny, not rainy. Pop-up gazebo is perfect. You can fit 15 people in there,
Sure.
So.
Yeah, come to think of it, every time we have Thanksgiving with Marcy's family, we always eat outside. Usually we are in North Florida, and so it's not cold usually, but it's a little bit cooler. And some years we're in the carport, and some years we're just out in the field. So it's wherever the tables end up.
So I was going to ask, it's like, not that it's something different. And Cassie and I were talking about this morning. This is our first Thanksgiving in our home. We've hosted Thanksgiving before, but it wasn't my house. It wasn't our house. Mm-hmm. We were renting the house. So it's something a little bit different. And we were talking about it, and Cassie, my wife said, she said, how do you feel about hosting Thanksgiving at your house for the first time? I'm like, nah, I don't care. It's just Thanksgiving. Yeah. And there's not a ton of people there. It's just another meal, right, with family. And she goes, yeah, me neither. Okay, it's just another meal with family. And but all that to say, your mother-in-law was hosting Thanksgiving this year. Mm-hmm. Why didn't you guys just go to the farm?
Actually, usually we do go to the farm, and that's when we eat outside. My mother-in-law was hosting this year because I was preaching last night.
Oh, just so you didn't have to drive the 37 hours to North Florida.
Yeah, it is. From South Florida, from where we would be coming from, it's about 6 hours. It's like a 6-hour drive.
It's in the Panhandle, right?
Yeah. Closer to the East Coast.
Okay.
It's like 75. It's off 75. So.
Oh, right there in Live Oak.
Not deep in the Panhandle. North of Live Oak, but it's like
much
75.
North.
75 at the Georgia border.
Oh, okay. Lake Park.
Yeah. Actually,
you go from Lake Park to Lake Park.
Yeah, they refer to Pinetta up there.
Pinetta, okay.
But Lake Park is where we do pass through Lake Park to get there, which I always thought was odd.
You got to go into Georgia to go back into Florida. Yeah.
Yes. And it's like 6 hours. And so because I had to work last night, the service didn't start until 7.
Yeah, you're not leaving at night?
If we left, we're not leaving at night. And we could have left this morning, but that's 6 hours in the car with 2 kids.
Yep.
So the Panhandle folks just decided to come to us in Orlando.
That's awesome.
So it's 2.5 hours for us this morning, 3.5 for them.
Look,
here, so.
Meeting in the middle isn't always exactly in the middle.
Yeah. No, but it was good, and we got to see everybody. So the other weird thing, and so I'm ready to talk about the Lions now.
All right.
If you're ready to go there.
Hey, look, I've been driving for a while. We can switch.
Yeah. It's like, so me and our family, in both our families, like my side of the family and Marcy's side of the family, me and my brother are like the only ones who care about football.
Between both families?
Between both families.
Oh, that's surprising.
Like, Marcy's side of the family does not care about football. Marcy's cousin says, he's a Steelers fan if he's got to pick a team, which this year they're a good team to pick. They're the only undefeated team left. 10-0 right now, which is a total anomaly if you ask me. But
they haven't played any good teams.
That's what they're saying, but they're winning. 10-0 is 10-0.
10-0 is 10-0.
And yeah, in my side of the family, it's me and my brother. We're the only ones. So like every time it's like, okay, well, I'm going to put football on. You guys go do whatever you want, but I'm going to watch football today. So and both of our families do lunch too. So like we have to leave the game to go eat lunch for a little bit and then come back.
What time was
watch the game?
Thanksgiving dinner?
For us, it was probably 1.
That is okay.
It's both families. We've always done lunch.
Yeah,
like it's just the way it's been. I don't know. We haven't done dinner, and then we have leftovers for dinner. So I've already had my first Thanksgiving leftovers, which was great.
That's the best part of Thanksgiving dinner.
Oh man, I was looking forward to it. I had stuffing and cranberry turkey sandwich. It was awesome. Anyway,
that just sounds delicious.
I I put the game on and I'm trying to watch it, but nobody else really cares. I've actually spent some Thanksgivings alone in the living room because Marcy's whole family's just doing something else.
Wow.
I'm like, okay, I'm going to watch the Lions game. But I think the thing I really want to say is I am so sorry to Matt Stafford. I just like, some people don't like to admit it because he's on the Lions and the Lions have not done well in his tenure. But I mean, he's just an amazing quarterback. Like, it's not his fault the team loses.
Oh, so when I say that Aaron Rodgers is probably a better quarterback than Tom Brady, and you say, "Oh no, he's not," and I'm like, "Listen, he's been beaten up. He had no O-line." Same kind of thing.
I'm just giving you crap. Aaron Rodgers, admittedly, I hate to say it, he is an amazing quarterback too. As good, if not better, than Tom Brady.
Oh, what? It's recorded? I've got it.
It's recorded. I hate to say it. I will give him that because he did go in an interview and said actually the same thing I'm saying, which is Matt Stafford does not get enough respect.
No, I don't care. Like, I love football. I really do. I don't watch football. Unless I've got somebody to watch it with and we're going to go do something, I got to watch it and we're going to hang out. And I don't watch football. If there's a game on, like I really want to watch, I can watch it. But as it stands now, I don't have cable. So unless it's on ABC or YouTube or what is the
Amazon.
Amazon.
Or Twitch.
Or
the same thing.
Well, yeah, same thing. Unless it's on ABC or it's on Amazon or don't they show them on ESPN Plus?
Yeah.
Yeah. So in theory, I have ESPN Plus because I pay for that. But unless it's on those 3, I can't watch it. Mm-hmm. So, and that's a choice I made because it was cheaper and it was something.
I mean, it's expensive to get football.
Yeah, or just cable.
I only have cable right now because we live with my mom.
Right.
And she pays for cable.
Right. Well, our old house,
she won't get rid of it. I keep trying to tell her to get rid of it. She won't do it.
Well, we got cable with our old HOA. It was just it was part of the HOA dues, which is stupid. But I was paying more to be able to watch anything and the internet than I am now for just the internet. And I get over the air TV, but I can only watch ABC. I can watch ABC. Yeah. I can watch a Spanish affiliate, and I can watch True TV. That is it.
Nice.
but yeah,
that's all you need.
I mean, I would love to watch football, and with you, we've watched some football, and I've seen that guy make some good play.
Yeah, I mean, Stafford is an amazing talent, and I feel bad because he was the quarterback like when I really started getting into the game.
Yeah.
So to me, he's my quarterback.
Yeah. I can dig it.
And I just see the end of his career is getting closer and closer, and the Lions are getting farther and farther away from ever getting a Super Bowl.
And they got close too. They were moving up.
They had some good seasons, but then they can't win a playoff game,
and they just can't finish the season.
They just can't finish, and in another stat in Stafford's favor, last week they played the Panthers. They got shut out, but that was the first shutout of Matt Stafford's career.
Wow.
And he's been playing the game for 11 years.
Wow.
Which, I mean, that's crazy. That's the only game this season they haven't scored at least 20 points.
Wait a minute.
I mean, Stafford is carrying that team.
Don't the Panthers suck this year?
They do. That's the worst part. That Panthers are awful this year. Look,
I was about to say, but the Panthers are a great team, but they're not this year.
The Lions got beat by the worst defense in football and an XFL quarterback. This is so frustrating.
Was that today?
No, that was last week. Okay. Today they played another bad team they should have beat. They played the Texans today.
Who are they?
I love Deshaun Watson too, but the Texans have just not had it this year, and I don't know why. And everybody's like, the last 2 weeks are like, okay, these are gimme games. Like the Lions should definitely win these games, and they just have not. Oh,
I wonder if that's like a morale thing. This is a gimme game. We're gonna win. Like halfway through, you're 5 scores down. It's like, oh no.
Yeah, well then it's like a trap game. It's like you didn't really prepare enough for that one.
Exactly.
Like you expected to win it. So 2 trap games in a row? Like, come on, guys.
You should have learned your lesson after the first one.
I know, for sure. But, and my other team, and we share this team, is the Miami Dolphins. Yeah. And they're not great either.
They haven't been great for 20 years.
But their bright spot now is Tua, obviously. He's doing really well. I love Brian Flores is the coach, and I mean he's really brought that team from the bottom of the barrel to the middle of the pack, like very quickly. But it's like when you compare the Lions and the Dolphins, it's like the Dolphins have a plan. They started rebuilding and they are getting better.
Well, that was his thing when the new coach came in. I'm terrible with names. I'm sorry. When the new coach
Brian Flores is the coach now.
He was like, listen. We're going to restructure. We're going to lose. We are not winning for like 2 or 3 seasons. You can just write us off right now. We're going to lose. And it was like, he couldn't say it, but he said it. Mm-hmm. Because, yeah.
But it's true. I mean, and I think he's got a very real approach to the game and a very real approach to the Dolphins' chances.
Exactly.
I mean, personally, I would have liked to see Ryan Fitzpatrick finish the season for his sake, for the team's sake, but they were on a win streak, and the best way they could go to the playoffs was like, well, let's put this kid in because we know what Ryan Fitzpatrick can do. Let's see what Tua can do. Yeah, and he hasn't disappointed. He's been doing really well. And this week we're playing the Jets, so I've got that to look forward to.
Well, do you though? I mean,
the Jets are 0-10. If the Dolphins lose to the Jets,
right. Again, not being able to watch football, just catching up to recaps. I remembered, as like somebody said, the Jets were back too, and I remember a few years ago they were doing real good. They weren't quite at the top because the Patriots,
sure,
but they were up there, and I was thinking they were back up, but no, they're back to the bottom. Yeah.
Well, let me give you a quick recap. The Patriots suck this year too.
Thank God. You know who else apparently sucks this year? The Bucks.
They're doing okay.
Yeah, only because of Brady.
I think they've proven that Tom Brady was the one who was winning those games in New England. And I say that very lightly. I am not a football analyst.
Right.
And I do feel bad. I like Cam Newton too. I think Cam Newton's really fun to watch. And I am sorry that he's losing, but as a Dolphin fan, I'm glad that he's losing.
Yeah. Well, listen, I don't like Cam Newton mainly because he did something in college. I don't even remember what it was, but he was like a jerk. And my uncle's real big into college. He loves college football, and he'll follow a guy's career from his freshman year till he retires out of the NFL, And he watched Cam Newton coming up in college, and it was like, this guy's just a jerk. And I don't remember what it was, but it was...
I don't know. I never watched
I don't remember
college football.
Anyways,
if I had a college team, I would watch college football, but I don't.
Go Noles.
I don't want to just pick a team. That feels weird.
Yeah, you got to have a connection to it.
Team. Yeah, I need a connection.
Yeah, I mean, you could go with the Canes because you're from South Florida.
I thought about it. There was one year where I was seeing all the hype, and the Canes were about to play FSU. And I was like, you know what? If the Canes beat FSU this year, which hadn't happened in a while, I'm going to be a Canes fan. And you know what they didn't do?
Beat FSU.
And I was like, all right, never mind.
And I mean, I think I remember that because I, as you can see from my picture back there, am a Noles fan. And you always give me crap. Like, if you weren't a Dolphins fan just already, you would hate the Dolphins because I like them. I mean, I just think it's funny that, but yeah, it's football on Thanksgiving has always been kind of a weird thing because
the Detroit Lions invented it.
Yeah,
they were like, "Hey, nobody's watching our games. Let's do them on Thanksgiving."
It'll get viewers. Nobody else is playing. Although, wait, aren't there now 2 games on Thanksgiving?
There's typically 3 NFL games.
3.
So every Thanksgiving, the Lions play. the Cowboys play, and then there's one other primetime game.
I knew it was the Lions and the Cowboys.
This year, the primetime game was canceled because
COVID.
The Ravens were supposed to play the Steelers, and the Ravens are having a pretty bad COVID outbreak.
Oh, jeez.
So they might not even play this week. Maybe this is a Steelers conspiracy. They're 10-0, and this is their second team that they're playing that's had a COVID outbreak. Maybe there's something there.
You know what it is?
Know.
COVID powder in the letters. Now that I've said that, it's going to be some new conspiracy theory.
Yeah, let's cut that.
That'll be the next headline on QAnon.
Jeez.
It's kind of weird for me because I like I just said, I want to watch football with people. Like it's a social thing. It's better.
Mm-hmm, for sure.
It's more enjoyable, I think. And look, we don't need to talk about the game at all. But I'm enjoying watching football, and I'm enjoying your company.
It's just something to have on and comment on when the conversation dies for a bit.
Exactly. But on the other hand, it's like, well, I'm here to visit, and I haven't seen you in a while, and I'd rather like hang out with you. But if we're gonna watch football, then okay, I guess we can. And it's like a weird thing to like throw into the middle of a family get together. It's not. I don't like. I enjoy it, but it's just kind of weird. Thanksgiving football for.
Yeah, well, like I said,
and you're the only
watching alone.
Yeah,
because nobody else cares. I had it pulled up on my laptop today because the rest of the family wanted to play Mario Party on the TV.
I probably would have played Mario Party.
I mean, I played too, but I actually won today, which
awesome.
That was great.
Awesome. I love Mario
I could
Party.
pull off a win. The Lions can pull off a win for me on Thanksgiving. Anyway, well, we've talked about food, we've talked about football, and we've talked for 40 minutes.
Yeah,
sounds good to me.
Well, thanks for hanging out with us today on Dad Shoes. We'd really appreciate it if you would share this with your friends to help us get the word out. We'd appreciate any feedback you've got on our podcast. You can reach out to us on Twitter at dadshoespod, or you can email us at dadshoespod@gmail.com. How was your Thanksgiving? Or, if you're not in the United States, how was Thursday? We'd love to hear from you. We'd also really appreciate it if you would leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to your podcast. Thanks again for hanging out.
Gobble, gobble.
Gobble, gobble. That was terrible.